All right, good morning. So we're gonna finish up the dice Excel project today. Your job was to roll 2 dice 20 times and record how many times you rolled individually: a 1, a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as well as what those totals were, so 2 through 12. All right, here's my data, and then here would be the data that I've taken from my classmates. So like I said, total and individual all accounted for. The first thing I want to show you is how to add up how many times I shook, or me as well as my classmates shook the number 1. Alright, so there's this thing called AutoSum. You can see it right here. Alright, and these are your very basic, I guess, common functions or formulas that you're going to use. So you have sum, average, count, max, and min, as well as there's more. So I mean, there's a huge list of different formulas. You can see here are all of them. Alright, there are a lot. We will not be using that many, but definitely. Alright, so that was AutoSum. I clicked on AutoSum, and as you can see, our formula starts here. So when you write a formula, you have to start with an equal sign. Alright, the equal sign tells Excel that you're going to be doing math. Alright, so you pretty much have to think backwards. Alright, you have to write your equation backwards. So equal sign, sum is the key word that we're going to use to tell it to add, and then we put a parenthesis in here with our range. So remember, our range is A3 through E3. Now, we need to make an adjustment because A3 is the number that the dice was in, or the number of the dice on the number on the dice, excuse me. So we do not want to include 1 in our data. So we need to make an adjustment. Alright? So instead of just clicking AutoSum like that, I'm going to hit undo. And I want to highlight the numbers that I want to get in there and then hit AutoSum. Alright, so I'm going to I highlighted 7714, B3 through E3, and then I clicked AutoSum and it knew to put it to the right. Alright. Once again, to show you that, highlight 8986, B4 through E4. I think if I even highlight that, it will show up, alright, in the 31. Okay? So, remember, the quick way to do this now, the copy tool, alright, is when my white cross turns into a black cross. Okay, white, black, in the bottom lower right hand corner of that cell, I'm just going to click and drag this down. Alright, and that will tell me how many times each number was shook. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to do averages. So now that we have the total, average is the next thing that's going to come in. So I want to figure out, on average, how many times did I shake a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So type in the average. Alright. Now, if I click this arrow and go to average, once again, it is going to average, since there's numbers in this entire row, it's going to say, oh, alright, let's average these all out. First of all, we, once again, don't want that. So it's A3 through F3. There's a few different ways we can go about this. I'm just going to click on B3 and select B3 through E3 and hit enter. Okay, so once again, we can see equal sign, the word average, B3 through E3. If I click on it, it will show me what I have selected. And that's exactly what I need. Alright, all the groups 1 through 4. Oh. So, what just happened there is, since I was in edit mode on my formula, alright, my cursor was sitting inside the formula, I clicked on G4 and it added G4 to the equation. I guarantee that's going to happen to some of you. Alright, and this is what it looks like. If that happens, go check out your formula, and then I can see, oh, there's nothing in G4. Excel's getting confused. So let's delete that G4, and then this check sign, this means enter, and this means cancel. So if you ever screw up your formula, say you just have a bunch of junk in here, just hit the cancel button, and that will exit out of what you just messed up. All right, I have it good, all checked off, ready to go. I can hit the check sign. Now I'm going to type this one out for you guys so you guys can see what it looks like. So average, once I get there, I can hit, oh, I just hit enter. That was the wrong thing to do. Let's start over. Equal sign, average, and once I can click on this. All right, double click, and then select my data. Enter. Or once again, I can just average, type it all out. We'll go B5 through E5. Now if you want to get nitpicky, all right, say there's cells in different locations that you want to add together, you can type out every individual cell. And the way that you do that, check this out, and we go B6, comma, C6, comma, D6, comma, E6, parenthesis. All right, and you can see that it assigns color codes each cell. But once again, that's why we use that tool called the range. So I can just type in B6 colon E6, and that will include C6 and D6. All right, so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and copy those down, and we are happy. So some of you are probably going to be wondering what some of these mean. All this is saying is that it wants us to know that we're leaving cells out. So it's just kind of like a heads up, I guess you could say. Same with this. We're omitting this one. We're not using this one. If I say update to include, it just, all it did was include that A3 that it thinks we need. Okay, but we are smarter than Excel. Alrighty. So that is totals and averages. Alright, quickly I'm going to go ahead and add up each time that I shook. So give me a second here. Alright, so what I did is I just went ahead and put in the sum. All of these should be 40 because I shook my dice 20 times, and 2 times 20 is 40. So we know that we did that correctly. So I was looking at this, and this is annoying me. These little green triangles, Excel thinking it's smarter than me. Alright, so I'm just going to go here. I selected all of my, I guess, ones that they think is a mistake, and I'm just going to hit ignore. Alright, let's see. Alright, so what I'm going to do now for this individual dice count is I'm going to go ahead and make a chart. Okay, this is annoying me, so I'm just going to center and merge my title. Alright, and let's see. I want to select dice number down to, actually let's try this. Dice number down to, I'm not going to include my totals in this chart. So I'm going to go to Insert, and we'll just click Recommended Charts. Alright, so I can kind of show you some of the stuff here. So the line chart, okay, this is what a line chart's called. The reason we would use a line charts are there to kind of show the change over time. Alright, so if we had months down here, or years, that would make more sense. Alright, it's just easier for the viewer to see. Right now this is confusing, the lines don't really mean much. Alright, I personally think that this chart would make the most sense. This chart or this chart if we're trying to compare the totals. Alright, the totals of how many times something's rolled, because this chart will show very easily that 4s were rolled the most. Okay, we'll show that it was rolled 32 times over, you know, the 31 that the 2 was rolled. Okay, so it depends. Are you trying to show individual groups like this? So you can see that group 3, ooh, only had 1 1. Alright, and whoa, group 1 had, what is that, 11 1, or 4s rolled. Okay, so what are you trying to show in your graph? For the sake of this, we're going to show what each group rolled individually, comparing the groups. Alright, not the totals, but the groups. So we're going to use this chart. Alright, unfortunately, our chart title did not show up. Sometimes if you select the chart title, so I'm just going to select data and see if this works quick. Oops, it's getting mad at me. Undo. That's not what I wanted. So I'm just going to go ahead and insert a chart title on my own. Alright, and there we go. Now, if you wanted to insert axis titles, okay, so you have your axis is here, because right now looking at these numbers, because right now looking at these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I might not understand what that means. So I'm going to go ahead and select both titles and just say number on the dice, and we can change this to times rolled. Alright, now this makes a little more sense to me. Alright, so there's your first chart. Okay, go ahead and put that in there somewhere nicely. And just to show you one more, we're going to go ahead and... Alright, so I'm an idiot and I deleted my chart, so I'm not going to make it again. But I want to show you how to make a pie chart too. So we're going to just highlight group 3 here. Okay, group 3, we're going to make a pie chart to show how many times, you know, a pie chart's a good visual representation of all 40 rolls and how many times each roll was, each number was shaken. Alright, so here's our pie chart. Excel does a great job of giving you designs, kind of preset designs here. This is kind of one of everyone's class favorite is this black backdrop. But this plus tool, chart elements, will allow me to do something called data labels. Alright, and what that gives me is, well, exactly what it says, data labels. So you get to choose kind of where you want these to be fit. And what this is showing me is that the number 1 here, okay, the number 1 was shaken only 1 time. Orange, which represents the number 2, was shaken 8 times, 9, 7, 10. So once again, instead of just seeing that piece of the pie, it's going to give me the number. Alright, there are more options such as, let's see, I know you can do percentages somewhere. Here you go. So you can add percentages, you can take the value off. Like I said, there's a bunch of different things that you can do within Excel here. So I want you to kind of mess around with that. Also, if you want to really highlight how many times, you know, the number 4 or we'll say 3 was picked here, you can kind of double click on this and pull that piece of the pie out. Once again, just kind of emphasizing the number 3. So that is how you make a pie chart and a graph in Excel. Your job now is to, well, hopefully you're doing it with me for sheet 1, but to do the same thing here for the total times rolled. Okay, so you're going to add up the total averages, total. This should come out to 20, I believe. All right, and then make me 2 charts. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, go back and rewatch how to make a chart and a pie chart. All right, have a good day.